What's up, YouTube? Grand Lamb here. This is the Labrynth list I played yesterday for the 3v3 case tournament. I went X1. I only lost once, which was in the semifinals, but my team won. Then I won everything else. I was doing a lot of experimentation with this. This profile is mostly just for documentation purposes, so I can improve on what I basically did during the event. With that said, I'll just get into it because it's really quick. I played 3 Stovey, 3 Chandelier, 3 Clock, and then 3 Butler. These are the essentials. I like this card a lot. It's really helps for playing through boards, especially, and just for pushing for games. Also has an interrupt sometimes. It's insane. It combos pretty well with something else I'll do in a minute, but this is just for putting bodies on board now, which is cool. Outside that, yeah, this is just standard. You kind of have to play these ones at 3. 3 Ariana. Naturally, you have to play that. 2 Lovely and 1 Lovely, 2 Lady. Yeah, I went down to 2 just so I can fit everything else. This is 42 cards. I didn't play versus any rescues, thankfully, so I didn't get punished for doing that, but I like this card as an extender a lot. Most of the time, I haven't been doing it for the sitting on board and passing. I have actually been using it as an extender to make certain link monsters, so it's kind of cool. And then for the traps, for the Labrynth traps, 3 big welcome and 2 welcome. I don't play that many traps for RES currently, so I didn't feel like I needed to max out on this card because it doesn't really do anything by itself on their opponent's turn. But this card's still insane like usual. This card is just okay, but I'll explain why. I played the Ariane this time. This card is nice for putting bodies on the field because I did play the Unchained package, so naturally, yeah, this card is very good at putting bodies on the field. So you just send a trap card, summon Ariana, and then trigger the effect. Something that's very cool here is that you could use, unlike Ariana's effects, you can use both in the same turn. It's not like this where you can only choose 1 per turn. So you can summon it, bounce another card, trigger the effect to draw, and then summon back what you just bounced, and then basically combo off the 2 fiends off that for Yama. Yeah, that's basically that. This card is very good. I have gotten the dream combo of draw 2 a lot during the event, so that was nice. Triple prosperity for generics. I will always say this, play prosperity over extract because the extract matters a lot, especially in this one. I don't want to play multiple Unchained extract monsters because they all kind of suck, and this is cool. Speaking of Unchained cards, I should probably put that out now. I definitely do not like these. These cards are bricks half the time. This card's kind of cool to open if your opponent tries to imperm your Ariana. You have a quick effect way to dodge it and then make a disruption on top of that. But when you open these 2 together, and let's say you didn't open Ariana, for instance, this just feels terrible. So I'm probably going to cut this, especially with something else I'm playing for this event. But yeah, just these cards are they come with a lot of risk with it. I'm probably going to cut it for something you'll see in a minute. Let me play 3 Ash on top of that, and then 3 Imperm. These could have been hand traps probably, but it didn't matter. The MVPs of my deck, actually, though, for this case tournament, was the 3 Nadir Servant, the Ecclesia, and the Punishment. So this card, trap decks have a problem just being very slow starts. For this deck especially, assuming you don't open Ariana plus a trap card, or this plus Big Welcome, for instance, you have to open let's say just this in a blank to even play the game sometimes, and you just don't want that. Nadir Servant is a +1, basically, that also gives you more cards. So let's say you just open Nadir, you're not going to Unchained cards, basically, because this does conflict with Unchained cards, and I think this is way better than Unchained cards. You could just Nadir Servant, dump a Garura, add this, draw a card, and then when it's time to do the furniture discard, you could, what's it called, discard the card you just drew probably, or anything, or Ecclesia, because you can also just discard Ecclesia now and then just get it back off Nadir Servant, thankfully, which works under draw, which is nice. This card is an interruption, basically. It helps set up a lot of things. I play a lot of targets for it, especially, and it's just really synergistic with the deck, I think. Especially because Punishment also triggers all your Labrynth cards and is a way to play still. So just having these 2 is nice. Another thing is, I realized halfway through the tournament, if you don't throw it in Nadir, you could just special this card and not use the effect to search, because then you can throw it in Typhon with it, which is nice. If throw it in any link or anything like that. It's kind of dope, and also it's just a nice wall sometimes. But I mostly like it because of how reusable it is, especially with Nadir. You don't feel bad for discarding the Ecclesia. I might experiment more with Flare de Lis. I don't know, that seems like a kind of a brick, but Flare de Lis or Maximus, and then see how it goes for there. But I definitely want to experiment more than Nadir engine. I like it a lot. And lastly, the last two trap cards for vanilla spots is Daruma and this. I was told not to cut this. I still don't really use it that much. This card's insane as usual, but yeah, it's just okay so far. These were my 41st and 42nd cards. Once I cut the Unchained cards, I'll be at exactly 40. So we'll see what happens on that end. For extra deck, I guess for the Lab Essentials is Muckraker, Chaos Angel, Typhon. These three you just have to play in Labrynth. I'm not playing extra, so I don't need to play anymore, but just to fit room for the extra Unchained cards, I had to cut the other second one, which did come up a few times, but outside that, it's a card still like insane in this deck especially. For Unchained cards, I played one Yama, one Rage, and one of this English. Yeah, I regret playing this because it takes up a lot of the extra deck space. Like, I could theoretically just cut these two cards for two more cards that would have came up during the event. And because I really make them, and the pop effects, like, it just doesn't happen, and I get interrupted a few times for it, so it's just awkward. Outside of that, though, like, it's there, I guess. I do like this card, though, just for dealing with Unchained cards. For my Dogmatika punishment targets, or for something else in my side deck, it's the Entis, the Malong, the Trouble Sunny, the Tri-Brigade Arms Specialidacus 2, and then the two cards it can dump, which is Garura and this. This is just Monster Reborn. So when I activate Nadir's Servant turn 1, for instance, and I don't have Prosperity, for instance, I'll just go Nadir, dumping either these two to graveyard to add the Ecclesia. If I don't have Pros, I'll just draw the card and then just discard whatever I did usually. Or if I have Prosperity, I'll dump this so I have a way to play on their turn after I discard. This card's nice because especially if they like remove your cards by any means necessary, like you still have a grind off that, which is sick. Outside that, Nadir combos with a really good card in my side deck that I'll get into in a second. You have just the generic good link cards, just from Anima, Dark, this. I did not make this or this, and I was actually struggling because it was either this or Abomination. Neither of them came up, but it's just nice to have. I didn't make this once, and then Dark is, like, as usual, just insane. Card's very good. Side deck wise, we have the Magnamut, the Triple Druidist for if I played versus Unchained or any tier deck, because I had a feeling I was going to play versus tier a lot. And then one Baldrake, because I had a feeling I was going to play versus tier. Yeah, this is nice, because 5 Bestials was a nice sweet spot I did for Philly a few months ago, and I liked it. The only thing that sucks is that you have to play multiples of this now instead of multiples of this, which is whatever. But yeah, it's I like it for a lot of matchups. I think it's generally okay, especially when you can reuse them all with Big Welcome. We have the 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison. I mean, I think you just have to play this format as long as Rescue Ace exists. Everyone's playing back row removal, so as long as they have that, this card's always there to just check that, which is cool. The Harpies, which, yeah, for Rescue Ace or the Mirror Match, basically. And then for generic, we have DDG and D-Barrier. These didn't go on that much yesterday. I didn't play versus any tier. But, yeah, these are just for random rogue checks or, like, random decks that just lose to it, so it's cool. And then for my last 4 cards, I did Ultimate Slayer plus this. This card is very good, as long as you don't open multiples, which I think this card is an almost return anyways, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so this card is very good for this deck especially, because it's another card that, like, trades with interaction 1 for 2, basically. So, like, since, for instance, like, the Manadium board, you just go dump Malong, target the Baron to shuffle it back, or sorry, target the Dispatcher, shuffle it back, then bounce the Baron, they'll have to negate it, and then your Typhon cleans everything else up. I play the Evil Twin card for Trouble Sunny. This card especially is for the Unchained matchup. If you Ultimate Slayer the Blue Dog away, it either forces them to Sharvana it, the pop, or sorry, they can't Sharvana, but they have to use the trap card to pop it, and that's just so plus on your end, because you still have this to trade with the Caesar. And then you just once you get rid of Caesar, like that matchup is just free. So you already added 2 problems already. What's it called? There's another matchup besides Unchained and what's it called? I guess Dragon Link is another one. That's especially very good versus that deck. But yeah, just this card is very nice. This is another card like a Nadir, which trades 1 for 2 or gives you an extra card when you need to. Like, and for a trap deck, going second, that is very, very, very needed. It already synergizes with the deck already with the way I'm playing it. So the way that you have it now is nice. This sucks to play a brick, but it just happens just for the strength of this card alone. Outside that, yeah, that's the deck mostly. I am going to cut the Unchained cards to fit in a few more, but I am liking the direction it's going right now. Nadir plus Ultimate Slayer has been very nice for me. On top of that, I think this deck's getting a lot better each like passing day, because I know Fire King is coming out soon. That's an annoying matchup, but I'll deal with it somehow. But January is coming soon. We're gonna have rollback, and that's when I think this deck like pops off insanely hard. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of innovation. But outside that, yeah, that's the deck. Yeah.